The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, good morning, everybody. And this is Dr. Mansour, and today is June the 14th, 2020, and this is the workshop for the transportation PM. Today is the 14th, as you can see here. So the session this morning for the transportation PM. Yesterday I was here. I was teaching surveying in the morning and construction in the afternoon. We still have one more session for transportation, 6:21, and I believe I added another session because I missed one. I was not feeling well, so on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken, I added and I sent it to all of you. And also the AM. Also yesterday I mentioned that I added one session, July the 4th. So please add it to your calendar. Let me bring something very quick. Yeah, this is what I sent yesterday. I don't know if I included you or not. Sometimes I include everybody. This is like the overall schedule until the official classes will start in July. As you know, transportation will start July 5th. July 5th is going to be uh, um, Sunday. So the first session is going to be July 5th. For those who took the class with me last um, spring, for sure they will be entitled to attend again for free. They will receive one ID for the entire. So this is what is coming this summer, fall, if you like to call it, or for the exam. And they check with NCAAS because the exam right now is not given only on the 23rd. As all of you know, and I mentioned this before, and you are aware of that as far as I know, that even we put a note on our website that the registrations for the October exam already started June 1st. So, and the exam will be taking place this year, 22nd and the 23rd. They split it to accommodate the large number due to the cancellation of the exam, April exam, as all of you know. So this is between you and the NCAAS as far as registration and all the rules and regulations. Always check with the NCAAS because they are in charge of rules and regulations. I try to do my best to keep up with whatever any updates, but I prefer you to deal this or do this between you and them directly because I may miss something here or there. So So the schedule I sent yesterday, or I discussed with the surveying yesterday in the morning. Today is the 14th. Here it is. So today 6:14 is gone. Like yesterday 6:13 is gone. So this is gone. Surveying, I had one yesterday, and this coming Saturday, the 20th, I will have a class from 1 to 4. Civil AM is coming on the 20th. Transportation BM on the 21st, from 9 to 12. And also on the 27th, here it is. So I added one session from 9 to 12. The same ID. You don't have to do anything except just so I will scan this and send it today with my notes. And this is a new session that I added, which is July the 4th. I know July the 4th, everybody is trying to celebrate the 4th of July and the fireworks and all these things. I made it between 1 and 4, so this is before sunset or before it gets dark for the firework. I don't know if there will be any firework this year or not, but just in case. So I made to add to also, this is to make up one session I missed it. As far as I know, I was not feeling well, like the transportation on the 27th. This is a makeup just to make sure that I give you what I promised. So I will scan this also with my notes today and send it. Today, I gave so far, by the way, mini exams, 4 mini exams. I was looking to them last night, and I will do all my best to give you the solutions before the end of this month. I'm working very hard to get the solutions of the mini exams for the AM, the Civil Brits AM. I believe I have 5 of them, uh, and and the transportation and also construction. So try to give you the solutions of the mini exams, but I try to work all of them. If you would like to send it to me, that's fine. If you would like to keep it for yourself, that's fine too. But you will get uh, something from me related to the solutions for the mini exams, to compare it with your answers. And I will do this at least we will meet once before the class started to go over any questions about the mini exams if you disagree with me, or the mini exams solutions, in order to and take it seriously. Please do your best to take it seriously. I know you are serious, but do your best. Um, one topic that for transportation BM you will get on the actual exam, it is something related to alternative analysis. And alternative analysis, this is the last chapter of my textbook, which is in agreement with NCEES. The NCEES, the 10 chapters of the NCEES for the transportation BM, um, uh, they put alternative analysis, alternative, I believe they call it alternative analysis, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check, because sometimes I forget stuff, and I don't like to be okay. Yeah, alternative analysis. This is what alternative analysis, which is the last chapter, chapter 10, which they describe it as the economic analysis, present worth, life cycle cost analysis, and so on. So, e.g., and again, they give us some uh, examples of what um, alternative analysis. This is basically this is chapter 10 of the NCEES, and also it is the same chapter number in my book. The I was looking for something, and I don't know if I sent this to you or not, but I will send it again. I found a bunch of problems. I know it is hand written solution like this, and these are how many problems? 20 what? 20 problems. 20 problems. I believe with solutions, and I maybe in the future, maybe somebody will type it for me if my staff comes back after this pandemic. I don't know. My staff is still working from home. They are doing their best. So I will scan it. I will send it to you also today with my notes. I believe that these 20 problems, if you are able to finish all of them and understand them very well, um, I believe you will not have any problem to guarantee the problem, because one problem really, it could be the matter of passing versus not passing. So don't say, oh, it is just only one problem. But one problem, yes, it can, especially if it is a straightforward, easy problem. Why should I miss a problem that I can guarantee? Because there are some problems you will see it on the exam, especially in the afternoon. They are difficult, and not necessarily you will be able to finish all the 40 problems in the afternoon, to get all of them correct. But we should shoot for that. But the problem that we can guarantee for sure, we will make it my first priority for. And you should make it the first priority, as long as the strategy when you go to the exam. I always say that you should go with a very well known strategy, and the strategy try to solve uh, um, the easy problems first. So I will scan this and I will send it to you, and I probably I will go over some of these problems today. Um, uh, I know you don't have it, or if I send it before, probably you have it. If you have it, that's good for those who are attending the first time, because every week I have new engineers to attend, because I made this free during summer to keep everybody busy. So I will do my best. So let us move on. And if you have any question, you are very welcome to ask, to email me. I prefer always email, because if you ask me a question right now, I don't know if I will be able to remember it or not. But I need I will send it to you, Derek. Everybody, okay? If I didn't send it, okay. So we need to make sure that, because as I told you, the easy problems we should um, do it. Um, because if you look to the NCEES, and I'm sure that probably some of you already know this problem, in the NCEES, the blue book, the blue book, the NCEES, the transportation, and I don't know if they're going to come, as I'm talking yesterday, if they are going to come up with the new book or not. This is a transportation book. I don't know if they are. The first printing was 2014, and they made a couple corrections for typos and mistakes and errors, and the update to the code, especially the highway capacity manual. But I don't know if they are going to come up with one in July or not. I called them and they say they may come up with one already. I don't know if they released it already or not, but let us hope for the best. Hope for the best. So we need to guarantee the problems that they are easy and straightforward, and it will take less than 6 minutes. Okay, so let me start with two problems this morning. This is from the Transportation PM, the blue book. If you have the blue book with you, that's fine, but always challenge yourself. If you look to this problem here, okay, which this is, by the way, this is chapter 9, drainage, chapter 9 of the NCEES, which is also my book, drainage and pavement. So they are saying that a new rectangular open channel needs to convey 1800 CFS without exceeding a depth of 4 feet to ease construction. An even numbered width is desired. Assume N is given, S is given, and the minimum channel width is most nearly. And this is what's asking for. The moment I see N, lowercase n, in the problem, I say, oh my God, oh, this is Manning, okay, coefficient, or Manning constant coefficient. Immediately, because there are many equations in hydraulics and hydrology. The moment I see N in the problem, that means that is directing me to the proper equation. And Manning equation, it says V for velocity, by the way, not volume, velocity, is given by 1.486 divided by N, hydraulic radius to 2/3 square root of S. Okay, how I remember this equation? Probably I solve a bunch of problems, and I still, okay, remember the equation by practicing. And this is the same thing with you. Yes, I know you have textbooks with you in the exam, during the exam, and I know you have many of them, but uh, but we don't like to spend too much time on something that I can handle it with ease, especially the easy problems and the um, the straightforward problems. Let me put it that way. So, for example, I'm doubling check my to see if I really did I write this equation right or wrong, and probably you will say, oh yeah, you remember that. So it is 1.486 over n RH to the third square root of s. Bingo. So and we know a q is equal v times a. I should remember all this. So s is given, which is the slope, and the q is given. How many CFS? And the depth is limited to 4 feet. And he told me this is a rectangular channel. So I will have a rectangular channel like this. And it does have some flow, and the depth is limited to 4 feet. This is a maximum without exceeding the 4 feet. So I can go up to here, 4 feet. And the width, which is the one he's looking for, the width B is unknown. And this is D. So if I take the Q equation and I say Q is equal to V times A, V is 1.486. Some book they rounded this, by the way, 1.49. And Manning's formula, by the way, are empirical formulas. So this equation here, as is given, this is only for US, for the units of the US units, the customary units. If you are going to use the SI, you'll find this is 1, and I will write it after that. Okay, divided by N, and I would say this is RH raised to 2/3, the square root of S, and this is just only V. I need to multiply by the area. The area is equal 4, which is a maximum depth, 2 times B as in boy. So this is the area. So a Q is given to be to convey 1800 CFS. Units are very important, by the way. Is equal to 1.486 divided. N is given to be 0.012. So I am done with that. What is RH? RH, as all of you know, the hydraulic radius. And the RH is called the hydraulic radius. What are the units for hydraulic radius before I proceed, by the way? What are the units? Units are very important, especially for empirical formulas, because this equation the Professor Manning came up with, 1.486 over N RH 2/3, the square root of S, is called an empirical formula. Empirical formula means an equation that has been developed by these professors, like Manning's and other professors, or other scientists, after they did a lot of research and a lot of testing and a lot of formulation, and they came up with equation that it will fit. Is not mathematical formulation, is not a differential equation of second order linear differential equation, for example. I can derive the second order linear differential equation for you, or whatever the equation is. So it's not empirical formula. And there are a lot of formulas, and I will mention one after I finish this. I talked about it yesterday, and I double checked it because I wrote it and I thought that I have doubts. So I went home and I checked it, and I found that. So the hydraulic radius, okay, is a parameter of this equation. It has units. It is either feet or meter, centimeter or inches. We need to be familiar also with the SI because the exam is given in the US and the SI. So the two. So by definition, the hydraulic radius is what? All of you remember that, I'm sure. It is the cross-sectional area of the flow. So it is the flow cross-sectional area divided by the weighted parameter. Weighted parameter. So in our case, this rectangular shape that we are trying to find its width to accommodate the Q, and this is a rectangular channel like this. It's running this way. Okay. Sorry, my drawing, try to do my best here. Okay. So the flow is limited to a depth of 4 feet. And the width B, this is unknown. And this is the flow that go through this channel. It does have a slope, S. I try to draw a picture as much or as many as you can, or as accurate as you can during the studying, because this will help you later on during the exam. You don't have to draw the picture again because you visualize what he's talking about. So theoretically speaking, based on this definition, the cross-sectional area is very easy, which is the B times 4, as we put it here in the equation, or I put it on the other one. But what is the weighted parameter? The weighted parameter is this one here. This, A plus this, A plus this. The contact surface between the flow and the channel. So right now, the weighted parameter is basically 4 feet, A plus B, A plus another 4 feet. So 4 feet, A plus B as in boy, which is unknown, A plus 4 feet. And the cross-sectional area of the flow, not the cross-sectional area of the pipe or of the channel. Be careful, this is the flow, the cross-sectional area. So in this case, it is B times 4. So this is 4B over 8 A plus B. And this is the RH. So if I plug it into the equation right now, if I can go back again to let me write it here since I'm going to scan this and send it to you today. So the Q, which is given to be the 1800 CFS, is equal to the 1.486 divided by the N, which is given to be 0.012, times RH raised to the 2/3, so it is 4B as in boy, and 8 plus b 2/3 square root of s. S is given to be what? The point S is given to be 6%, by the way. S is given. Sometimes they give you S as a percentage or the drop, how many feet per linear foot based on elevation. So this 6 is written like this. Sometimes they give it to you like this. This means the same thing. Okay, so it gives at the percentage, or so in this case it's 0.06. It should be written this way, which is 6 over 100. And finally multiplied by the area. So all this, by the way, from here to here, so far this is the V, but I need also multiplied by the area, the cross-sectional area of the flow again, which is 4 times B. So here you will find that B is here and B is here and B is here, and here it is. So, and you are giving 4 answers, A, B, C, and D. I will answer you, my friend, unless if you are giving me the answer. It is 6 feet or 10 feet or 12 feet or 16 feet. Those are the 4 possible answers that he gave it to you. These are the 4 possible answers. So in this case, I can simplify a lot of things here. I can this and the square root of this. But I have B in the numerator, B here in the denominator, and B multiplied here. I can get the B here, by the way, or in a situation like this is much easier. You are very mathematically you can solve it, but I needed to remember what is known as back substitution. Since already I have 4 answers, and instead of the exponents and all these things, I can say try normally, but you whatever you prefer to start with. Normally, I start either with B or C. You can start with C and C if you need to go a smaller or larger. If you start with B, you need to decide to go smaller or larger. Again, whatever, instead of dealing with a lot of exponents and all these things. So I can try, okay, B of, let's assume 12 feet. If I plug it here. So I'm saying that it is 1800 CFS. Theoretically speaking, this is supposed to be this side here. So if you plug B is equal 12 and 12 and 12, you will get a number. I will leave this up to you. You can do it right now. Or I can ask everybody, please bring your calculator with you. Always bring your calculator, the 2 calculators that you are going to use on the exam. Try to practice as many as you can during your work day, your daily work. Okay, whatever calculator, HP or TI or Casio or whatever is, try to do your best to use the appropriate calculator or the approved calculator by the NCAAS. They have a calculator policy. You're supposed to stick with it, and always look to this updated policy, because from time to time they change it, and we don't like to. So if you try 12, If this number is smaller than this number, that means that B12 is too much or too big. Okay? If too big, that means that I need to get smaller. If this number is smaller than this number, that means that I need to increase. Are you following me? So let us do this very quick. Let me do this for 12. Let me do for, and correct me if I'm wrong. I will do it very quick. 1.486 enter, 0.012 divided, and 0.06 square root, apply, store A. And right now I will take the B of 12. So it is um, 12. So it is 20. Inverse 4 times 12 times. Insert, and this is 2/3, 0.6. And most of you have programmable calculators. So 4 times, okay, 12 times. I get this number here, 2610.004 CFS. This is my calculation. I hope that you agree with me. That means that the 12 is the one I selected is not the correct one because this number is greater than this. So I will say, oh, try B is equal 10. If I have time, I will do it. If I have time, I will do the calculation to get and answer this question. Is it 1800? Oops, 1800 CFS. Is it really close to this number, whatever the number is? Because I tried 12 and 12 is too wide because the give me larger Q than or Q more than what is required. So in this case, if I have time, I will try 10. If I don't have time and already I tried 12 and 12 is too big and the difference is not huge, I believe the 10 should work immediately. But for the sake of discussion that we are here, we have time. As I told you that if you have time, do it. If you don't have time and you tried one number and the second number should work easily. So in this case, if you go to the to this number here, so I will try 10 right now. So it is 18 enter and inverse and 4 times and 10 times and 4 times and 10 times, and recall this number. You multiply one more time, 18 enter, inverse, 4 times, 10 times, and probably most of you are faster than me because you are younger than me. So if you are younger than me, you're supposed to be faster than me. Okay. 2084 point something. It is lower. So I drop the width 2 feet and I'm getting close. If I go 6 will not work. And that's why I will answer 10 feet is my selection and I proceed. If you started with B, this is one way, back substitution. I prefer you can make the equation, you can move this on the other side and put a table, and I have the table given in my book or on my books, the same thing. It doesn't matter which methodology you are using, as long as we understand what we are looking for. But I consider the back substitution is one of the options that you should consider when we are solving for unknowns and the unknowns, it does have exponents like in our case here right now. Okay, so this is something that I needed to be aware of, and when you receive it, solve it again, and if you agree with me, I don't know what's the answer given in the NCSS, you can look at it, but I believe that 10, it should be okay. The correct answer, which is 10 feet, is going to be the width that it will provide the, and by the way, um, 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 do you think that 12 will work? Yes, 12 will work. 12 will carry more flow, by the way. And even the depth of the flow will be less than 4 feet. But there is one key word here. So the 12 will work. 12 will work, the one I started with. But he said the minimum. The minimum. And be careful about that, by the way. That keywords on the exam, keywords, minimum, maximum, recommended. So this is the way I will handle such a problem. If you have better approach, please let me know and I will be glad to discuss it. But there are some equations you need to, at one point of time during the discussion related to um, um, Manning's formula, the other equation, by the way, if you put it side by side, so if this is the US and this is SI, so we said that this is a metric and the exam can be given, to the best of my knowledge, based on the NCSS, could be either the SI or the US. So the V is the 1.486 over N, the hydraulic radius RH 2/3 square root of S. This equation V is equal 1 over N, and this is RH 2/3, and this is the square root of S. So here the coefficient is going to be different if we are going to use the SI. And again, Q is equal V times A, and it's still the same equation, Q is equal V times A, and we can proceed and solve the problem if the SI units. So, because these equations are empirical formulas. And the N, by the way, the Manning's formula, normally they give it you in the exam because there are many tables available in the hydraulics books, and in order to avoid uh, any variation of these constants, normally they give the value of the N in order to eliminate any discrepancy and so on. So thank you very much. Yes, some of you already solved it. Thank you very much. So this is I don't know how the NCSS, you have the NCSS, you look at it. Maybe they set it up in a form of equation and solve this problem here. But I will write the equation and I will stop here and I will use the test technique. Solve it both ways. Whatever, if you have other approaches and or the NCSS or other books, let us look to what is. But I consider the back substitution is one of the options that I recommend you to consider it seriously on the exam because it is much easier from my point of view. But again, you are the one who make this determination. If you prefer a certain method versus the other, you are very welcome to use what is appropriate for you because our ultimate goal is to get is to pass the exam. What method you prefer? Empirical formulas, the one I told you that the professor uh, uh, um, um, Manning came up with this equation. Um, 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 the look for let me write it down, keywords. key words like minimum, maximum, recommended, preferred. All these keywords, I will pay attention to any of these keywords that might be included in the question itself. One empirical formula, I was talking about it yesterday, I believe in the afternoon, no, in afternoon, that's correct, that it was about the two-thirds, that we were solving a problem that we do have the bank cubic yard and the loose cubic yard and the compacted cubic yard, and this um, um, diagram or this figure, I drew it more than once, and I'm sure that you memorize it by heart right now because I drew it about 15 times, 20 times, I don't know. I'm not counting, but never, okay, if you are shooting for the PE, never count how many times. Okay, if you are shooting for the PE, uh, don't say I studied 10 hours or 50 hours or 60 hours or 500 hours. No limits. Okay, the sky is the limit. So, oh, I solved this problem 10 times. No problem. Just solve it another one more time. 11. Okay, I solved this mini exam more than once. Do it, solve it again. Okay, always I say the sky is the limit because the more you practice, the more you have a better chance to pass this exam and forget it. And I don't know if this pandemic or this COVID-19 is a gift from God or punishment from God. Whoever God you believe in, I respect all religion, and even if you don't believe in God at all, it is something happened to us, to humanity. I hope that all of us will be saved from this pandemic and get out as soon as possible. But the exam was cancelled. I don't know if this is good news or bad news. Anyhow, it will not make any difference right now. What I need from you to now, to the October 10, 22 and October 23rd, the exam, I hope it will be given. No second wave, according to them. I don't know. There is a second wave, according to the professors or the scientists or the expertise. I don't know what will be the situation on the 22nd and the 23rd. I hope that the sites will be available and we didn't hit the second wave yet, and everybody is safe to go to the exam site or the testing site to take the exam, unless they are going to figure something else from now until October. But let us shoot that we need to make this exam as the last exam as far as the national exam, the NCEES, and do it and forget it. Okay, so I know some of you were upset because you were ready for the April exam and the exam was canceled. That's fine, no problem. The sky will not fall on the ground. Just consider it as another opportunity for you to study more and prepare yourself very well, such that when you go to this exam, that's it. No more, no more. Okay, and take it and forget it, and after that, okay, move to the next step. If in California you need the seismic and surveying, if you are in another state, you already passed the national exam and you have a PE, and I wish the best to all of you. So the two-thirds was mentioned yesterday, and we said that from here to here, it is the swell percent, swell factor, which is equal 1 plus swell percent. And as I mentioned before, the swell percent must be given. Swell factor is greater than 1. And the second relationship is from here to here, which is a shrinkage factor. Shrinkage factor. And this is 1 minus shrinkage percent. and the shrinkage factor is less than 1 for most of the soils like silt and the clay and sand and mixture of all these things, but it is greater than 1 in 1 with rocks. Rocks will never shrink after we disturb the rocks by the blasting method or whatever method. So yesterday we were solving a problem, and we are trying to we have the volume here compacted cubic yard, which this, by the way, this is a finished product. Finished a product that when you design a facility, either a highway or a street or even a simple parking area or residential or commercial, and you need some kind of fill. So if this is the OG, this is the original ground, the OG. So whatever fill you are going to put here, or embankment as we call it, embankment or fill, both of them are acceptable, embankment or simply fill. So whatever here we put here, this is a compacted cubic yard, finished product, because as a designer you have a profile grade here, you have the profile grade and so on. So this volume here is the final volume, the final, after they put it in layers and compacted and so on. So we were talking about the 2/3 yesterday. We got a number here, and we need to estimate the number here. So if we take about 2/3 of this number, this will give me this number here, and from this, in this case, I can get the number of trucks. So those of you attended yesterday, I believe I covered this in the construction, and if I'm not mistaken, I sent you my notes yesterday, so you should have it. So the 2/3, and I mentioned the second equation, or the second scenario, that the 2/3 is the 28-day competitive strength F sub C prime, which is B over A, which is supposed to be at after 28 days. But we test the concrete for 7. It's called S7. So S28 is equal S7 plus 2.5 square root of S7. This is the equation that I wrote yesterday. This is how to estimate the 28-day strength from the 7-day strength. But you have to be careful. These must be in MPa, megapascal. And obviously this will come in MPa, megapascal. And 1 megapascal is equal 145 psi. Also, if you would like to write this in your book at the beginning of any book you are using, or if you have, but I will conversions and conversion factors. I try to summarize them. I know there are books available in the market full of these conversion factors, and but I would not recommend to buy just book for that. I will come up with a list of 10, 15 conversion factors, and that's it. If you'd like to take the book with you, you are very welcome to do that. But so this is so. But roughly, we can say that the S7 is about 2/3 of S28. Okay, the 7-day strength will we will get about 2/3 of the 28-day strength. So so this is something, and yesterday I hope that we solve the problem. This is a problem in the construction PM NCEES. It was a good problem, and it has a lot of information about the Proctor test and dry density and optimum moisture content and so on. So we need to pay attention to that. Okay. So so this is the first thing that I need to mention, since we are on the same page of the NCEES. But let me grab a question. I believe one of you is raising the hand, and probably a question or a correction or a suggestion or a criticism. I take a criticism also. Back substitution is easier and faster. Okay, that's good news. I agree with you, my friend. This is my, yeah, I really appreciate that. I have somebody support me. That's good. Thank you. I really appreciate your help and your support. Okay, so look to the solution given in the NCAAS. They may use back substitution, or they may establish an equation and they put both sides and the substitute. It is again is a preference. Look to all options. Now we have the luxury of the time to sit and talk and they try this and they try this. But when you go to the exam, you must have something already set. I'm going to do this. Okay, strategy. There is no room for a trial and error during the exam. No. Okay, you should know exactly what you're supposed to do. Okay, I thank you very much for your support, my friend. Okay, this problem here, which is, I told you that we need to guarantee certain topics or certain problems because I need to save the time to the rest of the problem that they are difficult and lengthy. For example, in the transportation, you are expecting that one problem is worth a lot. It could be, as I said, so the total cost of to construct a new highway is given. The annual debt service to retire a bond in this amount over 25-year period at 4% is most nearly. Again, the language, I know you cover this in the EIT or the FE, whatever time you took the exam, whatever the name that they were using at this time, the FE or the EIT. So I found that that the problems in the transportation PM or the construction PM or even in the AM should not, or they are similar to the problem of the FE or the EIT. So if you understand this, the engineering economics, you should be able to handle any problem. Maybe the language is a little bit going to be different. In new highway, because this transportation, construction, they made something, okay? The total to construct something, okay? Here it is to construct, so it could be either this or this. But the concept is still the same. It doesn't matter if you are going to construct a highway or to build a new factory or to do whatever it is. Okay, so so we should master this. We should know that we have something called P, which is a present worth. We have A, which is the annual or annuity. We have what is known as an F, which is a future. And we have something called G, which is a gradient. And all these parameters, they are related to each other by two parameters, which is the interest rate and the compounding period. N here is not meaning, so the N is the interest rate. And I is compounding period. Compounding period. Nobody will ask you to memorize equations. But by practicing, you will be able to memorize some of these equations. As I told you that Q is equal V times A, V is equal. The same story here. We have a bunch of equations. They are available in any engineering economics book or any review book or any prep book. And we have the interest tables. Okay, so the I and the N, they are giving either in equations or tables, interest tables. And there are books of interest tables. I provided as much as I can as most of the interest rates or the common interest rate with the common compounding period, N whatever. But we should know what we are looking for. If we are able to translate this into English, and the translation into English is called cash flow diagram, CFD. This is abbreviation of cash flow diagram. If I can translate this into a cash flow diagram, this is going to help me a lot. And I always encourage everybody to draw a cash flow diagram or um, a sketch or illustration or whatever call it. And this is what you will notice when I scan this and send it to you, these engineering economic problems. You will find I draw a cash flow diagram, even for a very simple problem. This is it worth it? Yes, it worth it at the beginning. It said that if 1,000, let me get my camera close here, at least you can see. And I said that if I'm able to get anybody who is helping me from home to type these things and send it to you, I will do that. If 1,000, but this is sufficient to understand it, okay? If 1,000 is deposited in a saving account that pays 6% annual interest and all the interest left in the account, what will be the account balance after 3 years? This is what is given, and he give you 4 answers or 5 answers, whatever number of answers. They went back to 6 answers, by the way, the FE. It used to be 4, 6, and they went to 4, and after that 5, and right now they went back to 6, and probably they the the PE, as you know, the PE civil is going to be CBT exam, as all of you know, way back. I know you are not going to wait. 2023, according to the NCEES. Already they switch mechanical and other discipline, but to the best of my knowledge, civil will be the last one to convert it to CBT, computer-based test. So everything will be done on the computer, like many exams nowadays, seismic and surveying in California, for example. And so, so, so they might go back again when they start the CBT. They might go back again with 5 answers or 6 answers. So, but anyhow, but you promised me that this coming October 10, 2020 is the last NCEES exam or the national exam to take it and pass it and forget it. Okay. So, yes. We have what is known as a cash flow diagram, which is this one here, cash flow diagram, CFD. If we understand how to draw the cash flow diagram, this is going to save a lot of time and a lot of headache during the actual exam. So the cash flow diagram, CFD, we draw a horizontal line, okay? And we have what is known as receipts and disbursements. Anything going out of your bucket, it is below the line. Anything going into your bucket is above the line. Or these are the receipts and these are the disbursements. But I use, so, and we start normally with 0, which is a period 0. And this is 1. And this is 2. What does it mean 1? 1 is the end. This is called a period. Compounding period. A period could be a month or a year or a day or even an hour. So compounding period, 1 period. Compounding period. Compounding period. 0 is the beginning of the compounding period. This is the beginning. And this is the end. So this is the end of the first compounding period and the beginning of the second compound period. Because sometimes they give you that the money is deposited at the beginning, not at the end. Okay. Any disbursements or out of your bucket at time 0, we call it a present worth, which is P. Anything beyond B is called F or A. It depends. If I have annual, if I have something annual that will occur every year, we call it A, annual or annuity. Or sometimes we call it equivalent uniform annual cost, which is A, annuity. If we have anything that will be available for us at the end, where N is the end of the life of the asset or the end of the compounding periods, anything left, it could be as a future F. And the F, it could be as N, which is positive, going into your bucket, or it could be negative, by the way, out of your bucket. Could be. Normally, this is the SN. What is SN? This is the abbreviation for salvage value. Salvage value. Or sometimes called residual value. Residual value, which is the value of the asset at the end of its life. I bought a car, or I bought a piece of construction equipment, and I use it for 5-10 years, and I sold the car or I sold the piece of equipment. The price I'm going to get at the end of the life is called salvage value or residual value. The salvage value, residual value, sometimes it is a positive, sometimes it's a negative, by the way. Most of the time, they are positive. Salvage values, most of the time, positive, mean that I'm getting money into my bucket. Positive. I have a car and I sold it after a certain number of years. I have a tractor or I have an excavator and I sold it after I use it as a contractor. So I'm getting the resale value as a positive. However, if I do have a car, and this car, for example, okay, I was carrying, or a truck, I was carrying some toxic materials. And for some reason, I have an explosion. And the toxic materials I was carrying in the truck, in the back of my truck, it is covered the car completely. And this is toxic hazardous materials. Okay. In this case, I have to pay money to get rid of this car or this truck. So I am paying money. I'm not receiving money. So the salvage value will be negative because I'm paying money. So the environmental people will come and take it, or some people who are doing the dealing with hazardous material, they will come and take it and clean it and do whatever is required by the law. Like I have old AC units, and the AC units, it has mercury in it, some kind of mercury or some kind of gas is considered right now not acceptable. So to get rid of the AC units, the old ones, I'm not going to tell the contractor, go ahead and dump it in the dump area. No, he told me I cannot deal illegally, I cannot, because these units, they have some kind of a material, it should be cleaned by the hazard people in order to dump it. Before I dump it, I have to clean it and take care of it. Like for example, some soils, when we remove soils, it has lead or it has material or toxic material. So I have to clean it first before we dump it. So we pay money. Okay. So I need you to be aware of that. The last one is G. G is called the gradient. A gradient. And the gradient series, it does have one important requirement, that If this is the beginning of the life of the asset, which is time zero, and this is the first compounding period, and this is the second compounding period. As I told you, the compounding period, it could be compounding, it could be a year, it could be a month, it could be a day, it could be an hour, whatever it is. He will tell you. The G specifically started at the end of the first compounding period. So the value of G is equal 0 here. And it goes like this. And this is 1G. So the gradient at time at the end of the first period is 0. And the value of G at the end of the second compound period is only 1G. And so on. We need to be aware of that. So the G doesn't start from here. Okay? It does start from here. Okay? So the G, the first G, it will hit at the end of the second compounding period. I need you to be aware of that. So the G here is equal 0. Very important because the equations and the tables are based on that. The equation that you see it in any engineering economic book, you will find that this is the G that we are talking about. So if we are able to draw a good cash flow diagram, I believe the problem became so easy. And engineering economics problems, there are more than one way, like in other problems, there are more than one way to solve the problem. So let us go back again to the problem in the NCEES and try to translate this into English. Okay, what I need from you, I need you to draw a cash flow diagram of this problem. What does he mean by this cash flow diagram? What is this? I need to draw a horizontal line like this and tell me what is given and what to find. So I hear it is. I draw the horizontal line for you. And this is 0. And the N is 25. N is equal 25 years. And the I is given to be 4%. So here it is. I help you with 2 pieces of information. The rest, and you right now. I need you to tell me what is given and what to find in a form of a cash flow diagram. Okay? So I have 1, 2, all the way until we hit 25. And he said that the annual debt. So annual means we are looking for A. To annual debt service to retire a bond in this amount over 25 years, and the interest is 4%. The word a bond, okay, either government or municipal bonds or city or state bonds, and probably some of you are investing in bonds. In order to build something, the state or the federal government, they need to get money for whatever sake, or the city, they would like to build a facility, a new city hall or a new bridge or a new facility. They don't have the money, so they are selling bonds. In order to collect the money at time zero, which is P, because the city wants to build a facility right now. I need to construct a new highway. I don't have the money. The engineers estimated that the cost will be around this amount. So the city said that, okay, or the county, okay, I do have 6,987,500. So it is 6,987,500. I need it now. So we are going to sell bonds to the public. Okay, but the people, they will get their money over 25 years. So every year, at the end of each year, I have to pay something. And this is how much the annual debt will be. And you may say, wait a second, if we take the 6,987,500 and assume I divide it over the 25 years, how much this will give me? Just, I thought about something right now. If you take the 6,987,500, 25 years will give you 279,500 per year. 279,500, if you take the total amount and you divide by the number of years, will give you how much I have to pay every year. And you'll find that this answer, the 279,500, is not among the four possible answers here. Because if I did that, I am assuming that the interest rate I is equal 0%. Interest-free loan. I will collect the money from the people and I will pay them back over 25 years, but no interest. Do you think that interest-free loans will work? No. Nobody will be willing to give his money for free. And that's why the four possible answers, any of them is larger than the 279. Because the interest rate, it must be part of the equation, because there's nothing for free. So this is what I will call it a cash flow diagram. And we can solve this problem either using the equations or using the interest tables. My preference is the interest tables. So I'm saying that I'm looking for A. So the A is equal to the annual debt is equal P, which is the present, times A over P for the interest rate of 4%, and the N is equal to 25. This is the setup of the equation. How I know it is A over B, not B over A? And this is A over B or P over A. because both of them are available in the interest table, as you're going to show. I'll show you shortly. Always imagine that you are canceling out. I'm looking for this. So P, A over B. Imagine that you are canceling this with this. What is left is A, which is the one I'm looking for. This is the way I double check you are in a rush on during the exam, and you may call it P over A and you will get something, and they might have an answer to match that. But normally I look to this as if I'm not canceling. This is a factor that I'm going to get. If you don't like to use the interest table factors, so in this case, you must have some kind of a table or a chart or a page. It does have the equations, and they are available everywhere. And normally we use these equations. Let me bring it to you. Here it is. This is an example as a table available, and I'm sure that you have it. The name, to convert what, and the symbol and the formula. So those are the symbols that we are using. For example, A over B. Here it is. A over B. Okay, and we have B over A, by the way, also. This is called capital recovery factor. B over A, uniform series present worth factor. A gradient also. All these things are given. So the equations are given. The equations are given. And also at the same time, the interest tables are available. So I will go to the capital recovery factor. I will go to the interest table that it has 4%. Like this table here, for example, I have series of tables. I put them in this form. Rows and columns may be much easier to use. So I have 4%, and I have N of 25. Here it is, 25. And I'm looking for A over P. This is P over A, but I'm looking for A over B. So I get a factor of 0.0640. So it is the 6,987,500 times the factor that I got from the table, which is 0.0640. And let me get my camera here close so you can see it. So in this case, if you multiply this time this, hopefully that we are getting an answer to match. So I got 447,200. Is this correct? 6, let me make sure that 6,987,500. Normally I do my calculation twice. I got something okay in this. It depends how many decimal places you are carrying. This is a factor here. So it is 6,987,500. Enter 0.0640 times, one more time. So this is what I got. So if we have 4 answers, probably the answer D is the closest one. Which is by far, by the way, if you compare this number D, the answer D, the 447,000, compare, do you remember the interest-free loan that Mr. Mansour will give you? No. Okay, you see the difference between them? This is the interest-free, which is a zero interest. You take the debt divided by the number of years versus the interest that compounded annually. And normally this interest here, by the way, because we have something called I sub E, I doubt that he will ask you effective interest rate. If the interest, they call it I here, there is another I is called I sub E, or we call it effective interest rate. Effective interest rate. Okay, if the interest rate is not compounded annually, like for example the credit cards, they charge us interest rate daily. If compounded daily, if I didn't pay my um, statement or whatever amount in the statement, in the credit card statement, if I didn't pay it on time and I am behind one day, they charge me interest, because the interest is compounded daily, not compounded, okay, monthly or yearly. This is why the interest will be way, way higher if it is compounded daily or hourly versus compounded yearly. So this is one approach. If you like to use the equation, you are very welcome to use the equation, and you're supposed to get the same thing. We use the equations, by the way, in two cases. When you have n, the compounding period doesn't match any of these values here, and it did happen in the past, by the way. If he gave you an interest rate that whatever book or books you have, for example, I have 4-6% all the way until 20 or 18%, I remember. 18%? Oh yeah, 18%. 18%. And this is 12, and I jump to 18. Unless if you have um, one of these books that it has interest tables only, and they are available in the market, I don't expect that you need to carry this with you. I do have series of tables, by the way. They have somebody generated for me 2 years ago, but I didn't get a chance to check it. They have a very wide range of interest rate, and also that number of, so if the interest rate is not uh, um, among the values given in any table that you have, or the n, the number of compounding. Here it goes from 1 all the way until 25. And after that, jump to 30, 40, 50, 60, 100. So if the compounding periods are not matching whatever you have here, so in this case, obviously, this linear interpolation, sometimes we do it, and you should master what is linear interpolation, how to use it, and I will be glad to talk about this, how to do linear interpolation by hand. If you have a programmable calculator and you know how to use the linear interpolation, please do it. But so the interest tables, okay, most of the time, but I cannot guarantee that all the time the interest tables will be the okay. So please look to this problem, and if you'd like to solve it using other methods, please using the equations. You need to pick the right equation, and also it's very important to pick up the right equation, because the right equation is very, very important. Okay. Let's take a few minutes break, try to get some fresh air from outside. And as I was joking yesterday, and don't take it personally, go out and get some fresh air without corona, please, because I do the same thing. I go out and try to get some fresh air, but I will scan this also just in case if you like to. But I should finish this problem here. I say that the RH is the area which is 4 times b over 8 plus b, 2/3 at least, you know exactly, and the square root of s is given to be 0.06, and the area is 4b. So this is 4b. So b as in boy, here it is. So this is the equation that we are going to try, back substitution and so on. Okay, so I scan it, and because I wrote something here, probably you need it. Okay, in addition to what there were notes. Okay, let us have a short break. I'll come back after 10 minutes from now. So right now it's California time. It is 10:26. So let's come back. Okay, 10 36, please. Thank you very much. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I remember after um, I finished before the break, I said, "Oh, I remember I used to give quizzes." So let us look to this problem here in front of you. I hope that you already start working. I know I'm 4 minutes late because I start to make a copy and I remove the answers. Go ahead and there are two problems, in fact. This problem number one, and I will scan it and send it to you blank. At least you have many blank sheets. I will scan it and send it to you blank. But let us uh, go ahead and start problem number one. I will give you 2 minutes from now, or 3 minutes. Here it is. So right now it's 10:41. So 10:45. What about 4 minutes? Unless already some of you already started. And I need you to draw the cash flow diagram. Is very important. Cash flow diagram. And let us come up with 4 answers. A, B, or I will let's sorry. Well, let us come with one correct answer. I'm sorry, but I will put A, B, C, D to see you and give me okay. I'm not going to tell who's your name or who's answered that. So cash flow diagram. I need you to draw a cash flow diagram and solve it and tell me what is your answer. We are going to vote this November, as all of you, November the 3rd. Yeah, November the 3rd is Tuesday, the first Tuesday. So we're going to vote. So we need to vote. So after, so I enlarge the text as much as I can using the copy machine. Okay, and I will give you. Okay, so go ahead. Okay, we are already 4 minutes. Anybody can give me an answer? 634. Let me put down 634 point. I will try to read as much as I can, my friend. Here is 43. Okay, 634. Okay, the answer is 634, 63443. And I have an answer 54. Let me, there's a huge difference. 54 less 31.60. If I'm reading something wrong here. It is 5430. Okay, 5430 is close to, okay. And I got 5430, okay. Any other answers or any other suggestions? I got, if I read this correctly, I believe I read it correctly. It is 634.44 and 634 from another one, and 543.42, which is very close to 543.45. Okay, so the decimal, okay. Okay, 543.42. Okay, 543 0.42. Okay. I think that's it. I think unfortunately all of them are wrong. All the answers I got so far are wrong. And I will tell you why. Let me take you back to the discussion, and I will come back to this problem, and I will send you my solution, and I'll send you a blank one. Also, both I will send you my solution. Obviously, all of them are wrong, and we're going to see these 4 possible answers that he gave me. All of them are wrong. This, none of them. If I add none of the above, probably okay. So, and I will send you the blank one, and so at least you can solve it again. We said that the way that engineering economics equations and the factors are given as, and I will go to my notes, at least you can read it again one more time when you receive it, that 0 at the beginning of the life or any asset or any economics operation, this is a beginning and this is the end. So this is the beginning of the first period. Here it is, one period. This is the first period. First period. Period number 1. It could be a month or a year or a day or whatever it is. This is the beginning and this is the end. Do you agree with me? So any period has a beginning and it has end. For example, if this is 14 and this is 15. What does it mean this? This is the end of the period number 14 and this is the beginning of the period 15. Do you agree with me? This is the end of 15 and the beginning of 16 if we have a 16. This is called a period. Like your BE has a beginning and has an end. You start studying for the BE, I don't know how many months ago, and the end is coming very soon, okay? This October you will be ace it, and this is the end of it. So everything has a beginning and has an end, okay? So going back to the problem, and they try to translate the problem into English, okay? That $200 is deposited in a saving account at the beginning of each 15 years. So this is 0 and this is 1. This is the beginning of the first year. And this is the end of the first year. Where did I put the money? I put the money here. $200 deposited here. This at the beginning of the first year. I am going to put another $200 here. This is the beginning of the second year. So when I hit 15 and I have 14, this is why I use 14 and 15, the last payment is going to be here, $200. If you count how many payments from here, from 0 to 14, you will find they are 15. Because this is at the beginning. Here it is a key. As I told you, every problem has a key word or words. If we miss the keyword, like the maximum and the minimum, the beginning, the end, if we miss the keyword, we are going to miss a problem, like this problem here. And he's asking what? What is the value of the amount at the end? So I need the money here. How much is the value of the money here? At interest rate of I is equal 8% per year, compounded annually. So I don't do anything to get the I effective. I doubt that he will ask you to calculate the effective interest rate. I do have some problems, the problem that you receive. So in this case, this, if you count them, how many payments did I make here? They are 15. Agree with me or not? And the moment I put my money at the beginning of the first year, this money start to earn interest, which is at 8%. But I need the money here. So I need the F, the future. So the money will be accumulated up to here is, it is $200 times, I need to get the future, F over A, because this is A annually. I am paying annually $200 deposited. This is my son or my daughter. In fact, the same problem, I wrote it differently, that somebody, okay, has a new baby and he said that I'm going to deposit $200, okay, at the beginning of each year, okay, when my son or my daughter is born, and the first payment will be made immediately when it's born. Here it is. She just arrived last night. And I would deposit the money for her or for him today. And every year, 1 year from her birthday or his birthday, I'm going to deposit another $200. How much money will be accumulated at the end? And again, the other keyword here, at the end. So two keywords, at the beginning and at the end. And the interest rate, I is equal 8 and N is equal 15. Why I said F over A? Because this is A. And I'm looking for the future of the money to be accumulated. If I stop here, this will give me the money here. But I need the money here. So I have to multiply this by another factor, which is F over P for 8% for N is equal 1. And I know you will disagree with me, and I know that you will take it tonight and do it. It is $200. If we go to the first factor, how much is this factor here? F over A for N is equal 15, and anybody has interest tables for, just to correct me if I'm wrong, 27.1521, and I have to multiply this to bring the money to the end of 15 years, which is another factor, which is 1.08, which is 1 plus I, by the way. If you do this, you will get $5,862. And let me double check my math very quick. One more time. I did it. And no, a little bit. Okay, it's 200. Enter. 27.1521 times 1.08 times. No, it is 64. Sorry, 64. Okay, 0.85. So it is 5,864.85. I know you will say, oh, wait a second. This is what I was referring to. I said that sometimes they can give you the payments to be made at the beginning of the compounding period, like this. I need to deposit the money at time 0, at the beginning of each, not at the end. And don't forget, you need to transfer the money from here to here. Look at it again, and I'm sure that next time when we meet, you will ask me. And I used to give this as a quiz when I was teaching back in Las Cruces in New Mexico. And some students, they stop here. Because if you look to this, and probably some of you did this, maybe you will end it. So it is 27.1521, enter 200 times. And this is what most of you probably said is 5,430.42. And this is not the right way. Was not the right, okay? Because the beginning of the period is. So, and this is why there are 3 answers here, matches the first portion of it, but you forgot to bring it to the end of the 15th year. Look at it again, one more time. It does not hurt to. Okay, let us look to the problem number 2. Let me give you another two minutes. Right now, you are expert right now. Problem number 2. 3 minutes from now. It is 10:58. Okay, so 3 minutes. It is 11:01. Let's collect some answers. And who is going to give me answer number 1? Let me, at least I will not mix the answers. I got an answer. Can N be 16? No, no, no. Muhammad, no. The answer, the previous problem, no. So I got 270.343, 270.34, and I got another answer. Forgive my eyes. 204. Is this 204? Yeah, 204. And I got an answer 270. Already I put 270. I got one answer is very high number. It is 1783. 1783.45 is different from this. And I got an answer 861. And I got an answer 224.3. 224.31. 0.30, sorry. Or 31. Okay. Okay, our friend, he changed his mind. Oh my God, no. My friend, when you go and vote, okay, you vote only once. Okay, you cannot take your ballot back from the, no problem, no problem. He discovered that. Did a mistake, I'm not going to. And the 861, did I put 861? 861, I got 861. 861.38. So this is answer E. So anyhow, um, uh, 240. I got 240. I got, did I put 240? Oh, you have another answer, 240. Okay, 240.0. So A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so we can stop at F. Okay, we have many answers right now. Okay, again, the language, already I help you with the cash flow diagram. The term that we normally use, so we have A, B, C, D. There is only one answer is correct. Yes, there is only one answer among all these answers. Only one. Okay, and we'll see what is the correct answer is. I said that I'm not going to name who gave me this correct answer. The equivalent uniform annual cost, because in any business, we always do the calculations, and I'm sure that some of you have businesses and or you participate in some kind of business. So at the end of the year, we do the calculations. Did we lose money? Did we make money? And so on. Our friend, the one who's asking, can I make this N to be 16? It will be a serious mistake. That means that you made 16 payments, not 15 payments. Okay. This is the question to you, my friend. I told you that you cannot put n is equal 16, because if you did that, you are telling me I need you to count how many payments did we make if we put at the beginning of each year for 15 years? At the beginning. This is the beginning of the 15th year. And this is the end of the 15th year. Okay, so this is the difference, my friend, between n is equal 15 and n equal 16. No, you cannot put n is equal 16 here. So at the end of each year, we calculate the benefits and expenses and what did we make and so on, and how much money did we make. So for the tax purposes, we need to do. So this is a printer that it cost $900. That means that I go and pay money right now. This is out of my pocket. This is out. And this is in. Do you remember? Receipts and disbursements. Disbursements. So I paid $900 to get this printer. After 5 years, I sold it for, so at the end of the 5th year, I sold it for $300. So this is money in, a plus. If the interest, what is the equivalent uniform annual cost? I'm saying that how much this printer it cost me over these 5 years. So I'm saying that this is like this. I'm trying to convert this cash flow diagram to this cash flow diagram. This is what is meant. And we need to understand that. It is 5. This from 0 to 5. I'm saying that 1, 2, all the way to the end. I'm saying that how much each year it cost me. So this is 1, 2, all the way until 5. That means that I'm looking for the A. I need to convert this to make it this, which we call it equivalent uniform annual cost, EUAC, a term that we use it a lot, and I need you to be aware of that. Here it is, EUAC, equivalent uniform annual cost. So this, I'm looking for A, annuity. So the $900 at the beginning is considered as P, present worth. The value of the money at time 0, call it present. P, or some books, they are using PW, but P is the most common one. So I need to convert everything to make it an A. So the $900, which is the price of the printer, times 4A over P. Again, because this is P, so I imagine that you cancel this over this, you ended with A. For the interest rate is given to be 8%, compounded annually. If, by the way, if the interest rate, he didn't say, like, for example, the previous problem, compounded annually. If he did not mention anything here, by default, compounded annually. Annually. Because if the compounding is different than annually, he should mention. If he said that the interest compounded monthly, different story. I have to get the effective interest rate, which will be higher than 8%, by the way. It is 1 plus R over N to power N, but I doubt that he will ask. It's available in my books, and we can talk about this later on. And in the problem that I'm going to send you, it does have, I believe, 1 or 2 problems related to that, just in case, because I need you to pass this. This is it. This is it. So I always tell my students at the beginning of the semester, you heard this song before, but forgive me for that, that when I entered the class the first day for almost 30 years here at CSU Fresno or New Mexico State, I tell the students, shoot for an A from the beginning. Shoot for the moon. Shoot for an A. This A, it can go down one day, you have bad day or the exam was tough, or it can go to B or C, for example. But if you are shooting for B or C from the beginning of the semester, maybe it will go down, okay, to D or F. So shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you are going to land among the stars, as the saying. It doesn't matter how much the distance between the stars and the moon and so on, but shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you are going to land among the stars. So I am shooting to solve the 40 problems in the afternoon, 40 problems in the afternoon, 40 problems in the afternoon, to get all of them, to ace all of them. I doubt that you will do that, but I should shoot for that. So normally shoot for the moon, and if you miss, so and this is why I need you not to prepare yourself for 100%. No, don't prepare for, no, I'm expecting that you are going to prepare it for 140% or 150%. I need you to shoot for the moon, because one of these problems may be difficult and you never heard about something, and something strange. They come up with some very strange problems and strange language. But if you are preparing yourself for 150 or 140, yes, it will go down maybe 120 or 100 or maybe 90. But if you are shooting for 100, this 100 can go 80 or 90 or 70 or 60. It depends really. So let us do our best. Okay, sorry for mentioning that, but always okay. So this is 8, and n is equal 5. So I convert this P into A. This is already A, so plus $50. This is already annually. I have no choice to other than just keep it as is, because already annually. Do what? Multiplied by 1? You multiplied by 1 if you want. But this is out. But this is money coming into my pocket, so it is a minus. And this is $300. This is an F with respect to this. So I need to spread it back to make it as an annual. So I say that it is A over F, because this is F. So F will cancel with F, and okay, for 8%, and N is equal 5. If you do this calculation to get the appropriate factors, you will get in the neighborhood of $224. If my math is correct, let me double check my calculation. I did it once. Let me do it one more time. So A over B, it is 0.2505. Enter 900 times and 50 plus, and store this, and the 300, enter 0.1705 times minus 224.30 as one answer. I believe it is 224.30. This answer here, answer uh, 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 answer D. So this is the answer here. So please look to these two problems when you receive them, and go over them again, and I will be glad to uh, um, go over. So I will send this with my notes, which is my handwritten and all the answers we got, plus a blank one. At least you can do it in your own one more time, just to make sure. And when you receive the rest of the problems, please, okay, go over them and do your best, and I will do all my best. The last thing that I would like to discuss today, and I will send it also, just in case if you don't have my book, I need to talk about the chapter number 7 of my book. Um, 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 and if you did not receive for any reason, by the way, the 5 or 4. Let me double check. Um, no, I believe there are only four only. The last one I was working on it this morning, mini exam number 4. So I have mini exam 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So if you did not receive them for whatever reason, probably this is your first time to join, I will be glad to send to all of you these 4 mini exams. I hope I can come up with another 1 or 2 before we start the course again, or before I start. So probably I can come up with another 1, 5, mini exam number 5, and I try to go back again because I stopped here at the problem number 14. I don't know why. Normally I try to make mini exams 25 problems. So mini exam number 5 will be 25. I will do my best, and it will have some engineering economics problems and the pavement as far as design and pavement calculations, pavement, okay, either the HMA, hot mix asphalt, or the PCC, which is the rigid pavement. So the pavement, we'll talk about it. So this is mini exam number 5. Mini exam number 5. I will send it to you at least when we meet again. You will mini exam number 5, okay? And I hope by that time when we meet next time, I will send you like this. I will work the problems um, I remember we worked this problem together here. This problem number 3, and I scanned it and send it to you. It's a very good problem, horizontal curve, and this is signal warrants. I still receive some questions from some of you. Mass diagram, we should master mass diagram because you might see a problem related to mass diagram. Um, uh, so these things are that has no doubt that you can master it, like the engineering economics problem, mass diagrams, signal warrants. These things that it is, if you understand it, you should get it, because there is no any mystery about where are the equations, or where are the tables, where are this is something straightforward. I call it straightforward because you will get some questions are really tricky, and you have 12 references. As you know, transportation group, you are the unlucky group because you have 12 references. And even if you have the money to buy all of them, yes, you are going to spend, I don't know, 2,000 to 2,500, 3,000. It depends from where you get them, and you get them in used or brand new or whatever discount you can get, but it's still a lot of money. 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 is not the point. The point, you may say I have the money, but the point, you don't have the time to. So the question that it has no doubt that if I know what are the signal warrants, and is asked me it is a signal warrant number 1 or number 4 or number 7, I know exactly where it is, and I know what are the requirements for signal warrant number 1, numbers. This has no doubt. I should solve it because I know exactly where it is located in the MUTCD, and no guess. Okay, and the language, it should be straightforward. Okay, so horizontal, vertical, and have another problem here, probably very close to another problem given, I believe, in the NCEES. It could be the same, or I change sometimes. In the mass diagrams, maybe, but it's just straightforward. You don't need to open even a book for a mass diagram problem. So you can ace it, and I believe they have one in the NCEES. So the problem that you can guarantee, and this is what I always say, that you have to go to the exam with a very clear strategy. Pavement, as you know, it does have one chapter in the NCEES, and I believe also I have a chapter in my book under the geotechnical and pavement. Geotechnical and pavement. This is chapter 8. It does have 4 problems. Chapter 8, geotechnical and pavement. Again, we need to master this. So I will include the section that I will start talking about it. Okay, as far as the design. So the design of flexible pavement and the design of rigid pavement. So when we and after this discussion, you will be able to design any pavement in your daily life if you are doing this. There are many programs available nowadays, but for the sake of the exam. So when we're talking about the HMA, the hot mix asphalt, or simply we call it AC asphalt, or BCC, which is a Portland cement concrete. BCC, we use it, as you remember, for the compound curve, the point of compound curvature. Okay, but the BCC here is a Portland cement concrete, Portland cement concrete, and AC, the asphalt concrete, or HMA, which is a hot mix asphalt, hot mix asphalt. And I will include also in the mini exam number 5, by the way, one problem about super pave. Super pave. Okay. Sometimes they include that the super pave, they included, okay, as part of the pavement, and I will talk about the super pave, okay, and what is meant, and all the letters they are using, and so on. So this is what I'm planning to do, and I will include it in the mini exam number 5, and I will do all my best to come up with 25 problems, not 25 years, no, 25 problems. Sorry, I'm trying to find 25 problems here. Okay, 25 problems. So this is what I'm planning to do. So if you look to the design, when we are designing any pavement, either a rigid pavement or flexible, this we'll call it rigid, by the way, rigid and flexible. The other, and there is something is semi-rigid, by the way. Remind me to find what is the semi-rigid pavement. Semi-rigid pavement. We do have a native soil. This soil supporting the pavement. This soil, it does have properties. This supporting soil, we'll call it the uh, subgrade. Subgrade. This subgrade, it does have some properties like the R value, or the R resistance, or CBR, California bearing ratio. Or we are going to see a method that Ashton they came up with, and there are a couple equations. We use it in order to calculate the resistance of the soil, which is called M sub R. M sub R is called resilience modulus. A lot of naming here, by the way, resilience modulus. And this is California bearing ratio, by the way, California bearing ratio. And this is called the R value, or the resistance value, resistance. So in order to design a pavement, I should know what is the supporting soil, or the subgrade. This should be given to you. And after that, we are going to say, wait a second, how many layers I need? Oh, but before that, before determining the number of layers, I need to know what is the load is. So 2 parameters will be required. I need to get the load, which we use what's known as ESILs, equivalent single axle load. And there is one equation, you are going to see it. Okay, they develop it for us. Nobody will ask you to memorize it. Here it is the ESILs equation. Equivalent single axle load. The average daily traffic at time 0 plus G. G is called the growth factor. D sub D is called the direction distribution factor. D sub L is the lane distribution factor. T is the percentage of the trucks. And T sub F is called the track factor, and times 365 days per year, or if you like to use the 365.25, I have no problem with that. And the T sub F, the track factor, is given by the previous equation, and you are going to receive this. I will send it to all of you for those who don't have my book here. Okay, unless if you would like to use whatever books you have. So in order to be able to design a good pavement, I need to know what kind of load and what kind of soils. Like exactly when you design a structure, whatever multi-story building, a hospital or a school or a library or whatever, in order to design this structure correctly, I should know what type of soil is that, which we call it the bearing capacity. Do you remember the bearing capacity using Terzaghi bearing capacity equation? So I need to know how much the bearing capacity of that soil. So we determine this from the geotechnical report. And I know this structure will be used for what? A hospital or a library or a school or whatever it is. So I know loads. I have dead load, life load, snow load, and name it, and wind and earthquake. So I get loads. So the loads for the pavement we are dealing with E-cells, equivalent single axle load. AASHTO in 1929, AASHTO, they did a lot of research starting 1929, and they came up with tables for us. These tables, they call it the LEF. 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 Here it is. I put it. Okay. The LEF. Load equivalency factors. LEF. I put it here like that. LEF. I put the watermark. And this LEF for flexible pavement and single axle, and for a P sub T is equal 2.5. So it is for P sub T of 2.5. Okay. How many tables they have? This is AASHTO table, by the way. This is not my table. It's not Mr. Mansour's table. No, this is the AASHTO. Here it is. One of the references that it's required for you to purchase. This is in Appendix D. This book here. This is one of the 12 references. The AASHTO guide for design of pavement structures, and Appendix D, they have 18 tables. These tables are listed. Let me see if I can find it. Appendix D, after chapter 3, they have appendices. Appendix, here we go. Here it is. This is the first table here, table D1. Okay, and keep going and going and going and going and going and going all the way. I have all the 18 tables, by the way. Here it is. This is the D18. D18. So they came up with these 18 tables for us based on road test. And they did a lot of, so they said, okay, the LEF, load equivalency factor, LEF. And they said that we are going to use a standard load is 18 kips, 18,000 pounds as my basic load. And this is why you will find that in these tables, for a single, you will find that for the 18 kips, which is 18,000 pounds, by the way, a kip is 1,000 pounds, you will find that the factor here is 1. You see this? LEF is 1. because this is my basis. So I'm using this as a reference. And after that, this factor less than 1 and this factor greater than 1. When the loads are below the 18 kips, these factors start to decrease. But when I go above that, the factors start to increase. So the purpose of the AASHTO effort is to convert the loads, because this pavement has different loads. A truck weighing 60,000 pounds and another truck 40,000 pounds, another truck 80,000 pounds. So we need to convert all the loads into one kind of load. They call it equivalent single axle load, which is an equivalent of 18,000 pounds or 18 kips. So this is the basis, 18 kips. And convert all the loads into one kind, it's called easels. How many millions? And we use this in order to determine the number of layers and the thickness of each layer. Keep in mind that I know the reaction from the soil, because the soil has to be strong to resist this. I don't like to put the load, and the load will transfer to the pavement, to the soil, and the soil will collapse. The soil will come down. We did nothing. Or maybe the soil is good, but the number of layers here not enough, or the layer strength are not enough, and you will find that your tire or the tire of it will be like this. It will sink into the soil, into the pavement, sorry. So we have to make all the necessary calculations to ensure that the soil has enough strength or resistance, as we call it, resistance or resilience modulus, M sub R. And you may say the resilience modulus, by the way, of the soil, it depends on if it is in winter or summer. Yes, I agree with you. And this is why they came up with a very nice equation in order to convert this. Here it is. It's called M sub R. Here it is. There are two equations. We are going to see them. This is U sub F, which is the relative damage, and the second equation to get M sub R. We use this equation twice. And in the previous NCEES, by the way, the NCEES of pavement book, I believe I still have it somewhere here, because they release it from time to time. So I buy all the books and the previous one, if I'm not mistaken, let me see if I still have it here. Oh yeah, transportation. Yeah, this was the previous one. Transportation, civil transportation, the NCEES. If I remember correctly, they used to have a problem. Let me see if I remember correct or not, because sometimes I assume something and it turned out that my assumption is not correct. Yeah, here it is. Problem number 540, the last problem, in fact, of the previous book. He gave you the M sub R. They are using lowercase r. That's fine. I have no problem. I use uppercase R. Okay. And this is the U sub F, the relative damage. In order to determine what is the resilience, the soil resilience modulus. This is a problem by itself. To get just only because we have a wet and a dry. This might be a problem. I don't know. It is just, I'm telling you that I don't know. It didn't show up in the second printing of the book, but they might go back again to include it. And it did happen before. I cannot really tell you what will be on the exam. If I know that, I will be a millionaire, by the way. But unfortunately, I don't. So I don't know what will be on the next exam. So I'm doing all my best to prepare you with all the information and the knowledge I know, and I hope that I'm shooting in the right direction. I hope so. I hope so, because I don't like you to come back and say, oh my God, Dr. Mansour give me the bad information or the not the right information or the insufficient. I'm doing all my best. I cannot guarantee anything, but I'm doing all my best. So the point is the LEF, going back to the LEF, and I will tell you why they came up with 10 tables. Okay, so, and this is the last thing that I would like to say because I have to leave in about 10 minutes. Or 15 at the most. Okay, so the LEF, load equivalency factor, or factors, in fact, we have set of tables for the HMA and set of tables for the BCC. This is for the rigid, and this is for the flexible. And we need to know how to use these tables because you might see a problem related to the LEF, and we are going to solve a problem. I have a very nice set of problems. So what Ashto did, they are saying that for a flexible pavement, we are going to have a single axle and tandem, two, and the triple. And the same story here. For the PCC, for the rigid, they have single axles, and we will see what is meant by single axles. Tandem means two in a row, tandem, and the third one is the triple. And under each one of these, so those are 3 and the 3, so 6. Under each one of these axles, they came up with 3 values. 2.0, 2.5, and the 3.0. This value, they call it B sub T. B sub T, by the way, is called terminal serviceability. Nice word or nice term they are using, terminal serviceability. We have 3 of them. They listed 3 of them, 2, 2.5, and the 3. So for under single, I have 3 tables here. So 3 and the 3 is 6. And plus 3 is 9. 9 times 2, because we have here and here. The same thing here, by the way. This for single, they have also 2.0 and 2.5 and the 3.0. And the same story here. And the same story here. And the same story here. So under each type of axles, we have a 3 terminal serviceability. And this is how they ended with 18 tables from D1. If you remember, I showed you D1 all the way to D18. I have all the 18 tables. They are reproduced, and I put it in a form of rows and columns like this to avoid in their original document. It's a little bit, it might be. You are very welcome to use anything you want. It's your decision. But Appendix D, this is the original tables like this. So unless if you do have a straight edge, you can make sure that you are go up and down based on the load, axle load. So make sure that you don't pick. So I put it in this form. If this is acceptable to you, that's fine. If not, if you like to use the original, I have no problem. So, and I used to have all the 18 tables in the book. Right now, I still have them, but they are not in this current edition. In the previous edition or editions, I put 2 and 2.5 and the 3. So I kept only 2.5, but I will be glad to send you the 18 tables if you are interested too. So we need to know how to use this because the problem by itself, this could be a problem. They ask you to calculate the E cells, the equivalent single axle load, as we're going to see next time. And if we are able to get the equivalent single axle load, the E cells, okay, we are going to go to the design after getting the properties of the soil, or determine the properties of the soil, and we calculate the loads. So it is our job right now to determine how many layers, and we are going to go through a design like this, by the way. So this is the native soil, which is a subgrade, and knowing the properties of the subgrade, and we know the load, the E cells. In this case, we can determine how many layers I need, the sub base and base material, and the last left, which is the either the asphalt or the BCC, whatever is. Normally it is asphalt, okay? But whatever the last left or the last layer, which is the most expensive layer normally. And as I told you, design is alternatives. You can have one layer, you have two layers, you have three layers, and everything has a price. Everything has a price. It's just a matter of the price. How much money are you willing to pay to have a pavement, and how much time do you have during the construction? So there are many variables will affect the selection of the type and the number of layers, but we should know how to do that, okay? And I will show you all this based on the AASHTO and the AI. There are two important: the AASHTO, the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials, AASHTO. They have, as you remember, in among the 12 references you have six of them from AASHTO. Six or five? No, six out of 12. And the AI, the Asphalt Institute. They have one book listed among the rest of references, I believe. Let me see if I have it here or not. Oh yeah, I do have it here. No. Yeah, no, here it is. Yeah. It's called the Asphalt Handbook. This is one of the this is the 7th edition, which is the list. This is one of the 12, the MS for the Asphalt Institute. They came up with this document in order to help us to design the asphalt and a lot of things. We'll talk about it. Okay, so anyhow, I will do my best to provide you whatever information I have or I included in my books, the Asphalt Institute and the AASHTO. The AASHTO has two books related to this, by the way, related to pavement. The green one, the one I showed to you, and the other one also green. Okay, I'll show it to you next time. It's called Mechanistic Pavement Design, and I summarize as much as I can in my books related to all these books. Okay, so I have to leave right now. So I have to leave 15 minutes early because I need to go somewhere to pick something. Okay. So try to do your best. I will go right now and come back to make copies and send it to you. All these pages that I talked about it, including this quiz. Please do it again. And if you disagree with me, if you send you my solution. If you disagree with me, don't take me to court, please. Okay. Just we can resolve our differences here when we meet next time, because I hate to go to court. Okay, so please do your best. Okay, stay safe and do your best, and I will do my best, and pray for me to stay healthy, and pray for you to stay healthy, and I hope that I can help you guys to make it this time, and no more exams, and no more pavement, and no more engineering economics and all these things. Okay. So thank you very much. This lecture is recorded as we speak, and the people are helping me. They are working from home. Hopefully they can load it on the system, and you will get access to it as soon as they finish. Okay, so thank you very much, and do your best. And if you'd like to communicate with me by email, you are very welcome to send an email to info@pasp.com, and I will do all my best to come back to you as soon as I can. And thank you again, and thank you very much for coming today. Bye-bye.